Welcome back to Gothic Homemaking. We are finally going to start our Halloween home decor hunting of the season. And today I'm very, very lucky to have a special guest, my incredible fiance, Mayumi Toyoda.
Thank you for inviting me, Milo.
Thank you for being here. Now, before we even begin, I have to make an announcement. It seems like my last video, Gothic Apartment Tour, may very well have been the very first Gothic Homemaking episode some of you saw, because I was inundated in a lot of emails from very concerned animal lovers regarding a joke I made about catching a rat in a glue trap. Now, first of all, you should know it's a joke. Second of all, you should know that the rat in question is a reoccurring character on the show, and he's just a puppet.
Wait, what?
He's not even real.
Yes, I am.
But you guys are right. Glue traps are inhumane and cruel, and subsequently we've decided that in order to catch our little friend, we're just going to go back to regular old snap traps. Well, now that we got that out of the way, we can finally start our very first Halloween home decor video of the season. You may have noticed we're getting started a little bit late. There is a reason for that. It seems like for the last 4 years or so, I've been doing this sort of thing, and Jade the Libra and a handful of others, but now it just seems like there's so many players on the field doing the whole Halloween haul game that I just don't feel as obligated to be out there showing you every single last thing that is for sale. So instead what we're doing is showing you the best, just the best things that we have found. Now, I'm also focusing my efforts these days on being the guy who designs the home decor stuff as opposed to the guy who just reports on it. So, you know, I have things like my designs at Society 6. Are you doing a Vanna White?
Yes.
Well, you know, it should be a Gothic Vanna Way. You should be Vanna Darks.
Oh, right.
But in any case, I have quite a lot of designs of a spooky Halloween nature. You can find those on Society 6, things of that nature. It comes on, these designs come on shower curtains and on phone cases and comforters and all sorts of things. And then, of course, there's my Goblin hand sanitizer holder and my Gothic antibacterial mask and glove sets. There are quite a lot of spooky home decor items coming from the Lair of Voltaire very, very soon, so I hope you will stay tuned for those. Now, getting back to Halloween home decor, this may be our first video, but we've been at it for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
The hunting typically starts around June, to be honest with you, and one of the very first stores to put out their Halloween offerings every year tends to put them out in June or July. This year they were a little late. They came out around July, and that's AtHome. Now, we finally have an AtHome store in New York City. It's out in Queens, so we took an Uber and we went out there to see what was creeping around.
Take a look.
Yeah, take a look. We walked into our AtHome store, and just absolutely nothing beats the thrill of seeing Halloween items for the first time in the season, even when it's summer. Maybe especially when it's summer. I particularly liked this end cap that had apothecary bottles. And these tinted skulls, I just know I have a million uses for them. So I snatched up every one and the last clear one. And while these aren't for me, I just know one of you out there has a lair where an emerald green skull would fit perfectly. It was obvious at this point that I was going to need a shopping cart. And the hunt was on. I went back to that end cap, and you know I was drooling over this bottle. And I thought the Eye of Newt was also pretty cute. Only 5 minutes in, and my collection was growing. Just around the corner, I found these tea lights, and they come in handy around the lair, so I picked up a few of those. Further down the aisle, just beyond these colorful knickknacks, I found some candles. Now, I have several candelabras at this point, so stocking up on these black candles is always a good idea. I also picked up some of these pillar candles. My only complaint is that they're not scented. I do prefer when they are. I almost left this section, then I thought, oh, what the hell, I'll pick up some of the orange candles as well. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of empty space, so in July, they still hadn't put out a lot of their items. But just around the corner, they did have some home decor, like these cute witch hats. And I wasn't the least bit bored by this Gothic gourd. The fact that I didn't buy this mirror, though, reflects very poorly on my judgment. I loved the sculpting on these skulls, but I'm really not sure about these butterflies. When it comes to who wore it best, I would definitely say this toad wore the butterfly better. They also had these gargoyles from last year, which I think are quite nice, and I was a little starry-eyed for these. Lucy is a skull with diamonds for eyes. Wow. Now, I've never been much into the lanterns, but I discovered in recent history that Mayumi really loves these. So I picked up 2 for Mayumi. I found these stackable mugs rather novel. Now, I preferred the skeleton ones and wanted to get those, but the one they had was holy. So I settled for these. Into the cart they went. Now, Mayumi has a doormat in front of her home in Mexico City, and this one was definitely giving us Mexico vibes, but I've never had one at the Lair of Voltaire, so we finally decided to buy one. We decided that this design was best, as it represents Mayumi, myself, and Orville. Orville's the one in the middle, not waving, of course. There were other familiar objects from years past, and there was whatever the hell this is. I honestly don't get it. I'm not even really sure I get the spooky ones. Mayumi really liked this pumpkin-themed tea set, though I just didn't think it was really right for the lair. We did, however, buy these little pumpkins, which I thought would be nice for our set when we do our Halloween-themed videos, like we're doing today. At the last moment, I spotted this kitchen towel, and I loved the design, though I wasn't crazy about the fact that the other ones in the bunch were just this kind of gray, boring pattern. And then, baby, everything went black. No, seriously, everything went black because AtHome turned off the lights on us. I guess that's how they let their guests know that it's time to reel it in on the Halloween home decor shopping.
Exactly. Hey! We could have used these lanterns.
I guess so. Good thing we bought more of them.
Yeah.
All in all, our first Halloween haul, I'd say, was really successful. But it was really just like useful utilitarian stuff that we found, you know, stuff like candles and tea lights and mugs, just stuff that's simple and useful.
Like lanterns.
Okay, you guys don't know this, but literally since the very first night that Mayumi stayed at the Lair of Voltaire, she discovered that there's a lot of alternative lighting sources in here. So she turned off the house lights. And she turned on every little thing with a light in it, you know, so like the crystal balls, the cemetery gates lamppost, like every little lantern.
It looks so magical.
And then we would just lie here in the dark with all these glowing orange lights and purple lights, and we'd watch like a classic old Universal horror movie or an episode of The Twilight Zone before bed. Shut up, you! Now, I don't know if you know this, but the other store that tends to put out their Halloween offerings rather early in the summer is Home Goods, and we do have one here in Manhattan, so we paid them a visit.
Take a look.
Take
a look.
Who's gonna say take a look?
Me. Take a look.
What she said. We walked into the Home Goods store, and things were looking pretty grim. There were not a lot of Halloween items, to which I said, boo! Though there were a couple of cute things, like this spider cushion, and these super creepy skeletal ballerinas. Now, I dug through the cushion section, and I got really excited when I first saw these bats, but I turned the pillow over and it said Happy Halloween, and that's just not gonna do for year-round use at the Lair. I found a cool skeleton, but it turned out to be one of those yoga skeletons I hate. I always say that you have to dig around at Home Goods, and if you do, you'll find some treasures like this one. These are the kind of designs that always end up at the top of the heap for me. Now, in the plate section, they did have these really beautiful skeletal plates. Unfortunately, they're the wrong color scheme for the Lair, but I know they're right for someone out there watching right now. I really wanted to love this item, but I just didn't like the sculpting. Ironically, my favorite item there was something that has nothing to do with Halloween. This soap dispenser has now found a permanent home in my Gothic kitchen. and this old-timey one is now on my black sink in my Gothic bathroom. Heading towards the cashier, Mayumi spotted these kitchen towels, and I said, well, I don't know about those designs, but I dug a little bit, and these spiderweb ones are definitely right for the Lair. Now this is a design that I could get stuck on. Now that location is 90 city blocks away from the Lair of Voltaire. But when we left, instead of getting a cab, we rented some city bikes and had a beautiful sunset ride home from there.
It was so nice.
Down by the river.
Yeah.
Down the West Side Highway. Now, the thing about Home Goods was it didn't seem like they had a lot of their Halloween stuff out that early. So it's really important that you know that if you're going to do this Halloween home decor hunting stuff and you're going to take it seriously, you have to keep going back to the same stores. And if at all possible, hit other locations. Now, luckily for me, I'm a touring musician, and as it happens, that weekend, I had a show in
Seattle.
The day after my show, I hit the local home goods store. I walked through the door, and let me tell you, this is the only home goods store where I found all of their Halloween items in one aisle. It was as if I had wandered into Halloween Town. In their collection of kitschy Halloween cushions, I thought this one was kind of cute. Although the spiderweb one was more my style. And I saw the skeletal ballerinas, but it was only now that I noticed the novel use of tulle as a 3D element. I also thought these jack-o'-lantern jars were a lot of fun. And I love these bowls, but unfortunately, as is typical at Home Goods, sometimes they only have one of a plate or of a bowl. It's very hard to find a full set. Though I noticed they're made by Royal Stratford, and I do believe you can find these on Amazon. If I can find a link, I'll put it in the video description below. I may have left empty-handed, but I was still happy to be in Seattle. Back in New York City, Mayumi and I tried our home goods store again on August 5th. We arrived at Home Goods expecting to save on the unexpected. Halloween was now in full effect. Now, while designs like this might not be right for me, a tablecloth like this one is perfect for a Gothic dinner party, so I picked that up. Speaking of which, I also picked up these incredible napkins, which are going to go great with that spiderweb kitchen towel I picked up earlier. We had spent very little time in this Home Goods, and I was already giving it a thumbs up. They now had a full wall of Halloween cushions, and this one looked a lot like the sweater that I'm wearing on the Boohoo album cover. It was hand knit, and I bought it in a flea market in Camden Town, London. Honestly, it looks like it was made by the same person, so you know that was coming home with us. The skeletal ballerinas seemed to be multiplying, and down in this creepy corner, I found that spiderweb cushion again. It was only now that I really noticed the incredible beadwork that was on it. I didn't buy it in Seattle, but I wasn't going to make that mistake again. We were off to a good start. In the plateware section, they had things that were cute, and things that were kitschy, and things that were classically Gothic. For the first time ever, I saw a multitude of this design that I've been trying to collect. And so, I finally bought 4 of the plates and 4 of the bowls, and I now have a full set. Our shopping cart had the look of a classic Gothic Halloween haul. Once again, nearing the cashier, Mayumi noticed these kitchen towels. Now everybody knows that these kinds of designs are way too kitschy for me. But then I looked over and I learned a horrifying fact about my fiancé. It is at this point we need to pause for a quick Spanish lesson because there's a couple of Spanish words you're going to be hearing a lot of here on in. One of them you probably already know, it's mira. What does that mean, Mayumi?
That means look.
Correct, it means look. The other one is bonito. What does that mean, love?
Bonito means pretty.
It means pretty. Submitted for your approval. 2 people gaze upon the same object. To one, it is bonito. And in the other, it simply elicits nervous laughter. But that is how perception works here in the Twilight Zone.
Está bonito.
Yeah. Not really my style.
Está bonito. Mira, raised by bats.
Oh my God, that is not Raised by Bats. Raised by Bats cartoon edition.
Ah, mira.
Okay, is that for your country kitchen?
Yes, it's for my country kitchen.
I don't know how we've managed to live 2 years together and not know that our styles are exactly the opposite of each other.
Opposites attract.
Straight up now, tell me, are you going to be the kitschy Halloween queen forever?
Oh, oh, oh.
Or am I caught in the hit and run? I think I'm caught in the hit and run. Well, listen folks, relationships are about compromise. So we've made a deal that we will buy the kitschy country kitchen Halloween corny items that I abhor, but they will never leave our apartment in Mexico City. Deal?
Deal.
I never thought I'd see the day, but these country kitchen Halloween towels went into my shopping cart.
Están muy bonitos.
As it happens, there's a TJ Maxx directly across the street from that home goods store. So we went over there to see if they had anything spooky out yet. Now, as it happens, TJ Maxx is the sister store of Marshall's and Ross as well. And they tend to get their Halloween offerings about a month after Home Goods. But we figured we'd take a look anyway. Couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Things at this TJ Maxx were looking pretty sad. When I saw Jack, I thought it was a harbinger of good fortune. But then I realized what they were keeping away was the Halloween decorations. They did have these kitchen towels, and I did my best to keep them out of Mayumi's view. Now, I don't know what witchery this is, but I've noticed there's this trend this season where there are towel sets where the first one has a really cool design and the rest of them are just these kind of like boring pattern towels. Now, I don't know whose idea this was, and maybe somebody out there thinks it's a wonderful idea, but I just think this is the worst thing that's happened this Halloween season so far. And it makes my head spin. Much more my style were these decorative throws. In fact, they look an awful lot like the Alexander McQueen scarves that I buy, except they're a lot cheaper. So I was thinking, hell, maybe I'll just wear these instead. If you need me, I'll be in my crypt with an amaretto. Our next stop was Marshall's, about a week later. Marshall's, being a sister store of TJ Maxx, had some of the same items, but there was a lot of other new surprises there as well. This location had a lot of glassware, a lot of shot glasses and mugs and things of that nature, nothing that's really right for the Lair, except perhaps these wine glasses. The color scheme was certainly right, and I did really appreciate the graveyard motif. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I stared at this thing for way too long trying to figure out what the hell it was, until I realized there was a bowl that comes with it. This would be really perfect for putting some Halloween candy into. When I saw these kitschy Halloween kitchen towels, I wondered what Mayumi was up to, and no surprises. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's one word for it, I guess. While she was looking at things that aren't allowed in the Lair of Voltaire, I was digging through big license items like Nightmare Before Christmas and Snoopy, because I just believe that if you dig deep enough, you'll find things that are elegantly macabre enough for year-round use, like these wonderful oven mitts. Now this is something that can go in a Gothic kitchen year-round. Of course, once in a while I do find a kitchen towel that I think is good for year-round use in a proper Gothic kitchen. But this was my favorite item of all this year at Marshall's. Now, we've seen a lot of these sort of storage boxes before, but what set this one apart was that it was made of wood. It had a beautiful design, and it was really, really sturdy. There was another box inside, and truth be told, it was a little too colorful for me, although I'm sure a lot of you out there would really love it. But the fact that it wasn't cardboard told me that this is an item that will last for years to come. Nice and sturdy, beautiful design. I vote this my favorite item from Marshall's so far, this Halloween season. Now, as you know, I'm primarily a touring musician, and as it happens, my next show was in Los Angeles, California, and Mayumi joined me on that trip.
Yay!
We arrived in Hollywood, California, and stayed at the famous Roosevelt Hotel, which is allegedly haunted. They say the ghost of Marilyn Monroe haunts these hallways. Just to make sure Mayumi had the full haunt experience, I hid in an alcove in our hallway and laid in wait. Just across the street from the Roosevelt Hotel is the famous Grauman Chinese Theater, where you'll find lots of signatures and lots of stars. And just down the road is a Marshall's. We entered the Hollywood Marshall's and found a lot of the items that we had seen at other locations and other surprises that were very shiny and glittery and very Hollywood. I accept this award for Best Bonehead in a Web Series. They did have a wonderful skeleton stackable mug, and if it wasn't orange inside, I would have bought it. But my favorite item there was this wonderful spiderweb placemat. I really liked the beadwork on it. Honorable mention goes to these candle holders designed by Alistair Crowd. What? Martha Stewart? What the hell? I spent the rest of my time standing in front of things I didn't want Mayumi to see for fear that she'd want to bring them to the Lair of Voltaire. And that pretty much wraps up part 1 of our Halloween home decor favorites so far from AtHome, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, and Marshall's. We've done a lot more spooky shopping, and we can't wait to share our favorites with you in an upcoming episode. Speaking of which, next week, I go Halloween home decor hunting with one of our favorite YouTubers, Jade the Libra, and you are not going to want to miss that. What? Anyway, before we sign off, how about we play a game? And each one of us show our number 1 favorite item that we have found so far this season.
Okay,
Are you game?
Yes, I'm in.
Do you know what yours is?
Of course, I do. No.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yay!
I have been trying to get a full set of this plate design, I think since Gothic homemaking began in 2016.
Aww.
But every single time I went to a Home Goods, there was only 1 or 2, or a couple of them were chipped or broken. I have literally never seen a whole set.
Oh, they're very beautiful.
I am so excited I finally have a whole set of these. I am going to cook a delicious meal and serve it to you on these beautiful skeletal plates.
Ooh, I love that plan.
Okay, now what's your favorite? Not you, dummy. I meant the lady. How about you, Mayumi? Do you have a favorite item?
Yes.
Okay, you ready to reveal it?
Yes.
On the count of 3?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
The lantern!
Of course.
It's good for movie time.
I know.
And also this one.
You can't pick 2.
Yes. It's comfy for the plane rides.
You have taken it on like 4 different plane rides since you got it.
Yeah. Can I pick one more?
Oh my god.
Du-du-du-du.
Our gods.
Está bonito.
Okay, Orville, how about you? Do you have a favorite? I'm outnumbered.
Es cierto.